large family units, large give-ups, and that's drawing agents away from their primary mission of border security. And so that's been a big challenge. And of course, these are all coordinated by the smugglers to bring large groups in and then try to send other things through other parts of the border.
You have new border infrastructure. Has that made a difference?
Certainly. Infrastructure, anything, the wall system, access roads, that always works. They control, they contain, they impede, deny, and it allows agents to do what they need to do.
That being said, though, you noted that every day your agents are apprehending several hundred people. How's that possible?
Yeah, it's possible because there's areas where there's infrastructure is lacking, where it was never built, or it's legacy vehicle barriers. So that just keeps vehicles from coming through, but people can walk through the border. And so that is an easy area for them to come across, which our agents respond rapidly, but that is a pull factor from our resources to make sure that we're taking care of these groups as soon as they come across the border. But that does impact us in the other areas where agents get pulled from.
There's a term that I've heard within DHS, the gotaways. Somehow you are able to quantify how many people made it past the multiple layers of defense and into the United States. Can you help educate people on how that works?
Well, so gotaways are going to be based on known entries that we do not resolve, whether we've tracked them and they've run from us, or we find sign, which is evidence of their footprints or something on the ground. What I can tell you this, though, Yuma sector still remains the highest effectiveness rate on the southwest border. So while we are seeing an uptick in gotaways, and poses a challenge, especially when we've got these large groups coming through, we are still out there doing our job. We are still interdicting people that are trying to avoid our detection.
Why are some migrants literally walking up to agents and others are avoiding you?
Well, again, as we mentioned earlier on, nobody comes across the border without paying or through the control of the cartel, the smuggling organization. So when large groups are coming across and surrendering an entry somewhere in areas where there's limited infrastructure, the other areas are being exploited by folks that have a criminal element, whether they're smuggling narcotics, whether they're truly trying to avoid detection or apprehension because they may have a criminal history. So that's all coordinated. And so what they know is Border Patrol agents are going to respond in due time to the large groups. So they're hoping that our resources get stretched, create a vulnerability, and then send those groups through in other parts of the county and along the border.
This year, Yuma agents have seen an 83% increase in smuggling cases, and it includes stash houses. Investigations reveal on average crossing the southern border in this area cost at least $6,000.
They're paying somehow in some way. They may have not given cash money up front, but there is something that's driving that, because again, they are paying at the border. There are service fees, if you will, being charged by landowners on the south side if you're going to come through our area.
Large groups like this one happen at random. During our 24-hour visit, our crew came upon two groups who easily entered the U.S., men, women, and children, some of them alone. It takes an agent about 2 hours to process an unlawful entry. Yuma sector recently acquired funding to receive a permanent centralized processing center where a non-agent can process a case, putting the agent back in the field sooner. In the meantime, Clem and his 750 agents are manning more than 180,000 square miles and its ever-changing dynamics.
Do we have a handle on it? We're getting better at it. We're learning from lessons learned from previous years. We have structures in place. We have personnel deployments in place. We're planning on, increasing the bandwidth and some of the throughput and processing of the subjects we take into custody. So all of these things are lessons learned from plenty of experience, and we're going to continue to plan and evolve our operations.
And when you talk about evolving, you will undoubtedly face the criticism from the public, who talks about how the infrastructure, all those things have led to injuries, deaths among migrants. How do you respond to those criticisms?
Well, I'll respond to them with the facts. The infrastructure works. It saves lives. It allows our Border Patrol agents to respond to the threats. It keeps communities safe, and again, border security is national security. So the more things that we have that help us do our job makes us do our job better and makes America safe.